Alright, let's dive into this because it's a transfer saga that's got everyone talking. Bruno Guimaraes leaving Newcastle for Arsenal? There's so much to unpack here, and personally, I think this move is a massive statement for both clubs. But let's start with the hook. Why would a player like Guimaraes, who's been nothing short of a talisman for Newcastle, want to make this switch? And more importantly, what does this say about the direction of both clubs? First off, let's address the elephant in the room, Newcastle losing yet another key player. I mean, this is the fourth major departure in less than a year. Sandro, Tonali, Anthony Gordon, Alexander Isak, and now Guimaraes. What's going on here? From my perspective, this isn't just about individual transfers, it's a bigger narrative about Newcastle's identity as a club. Are they rebuilding, or are they in a state of flux? One thing that immediately stands out is the age profile of their signings this summer, mostly young players. But they're also looking for experienced midfielders. It's like they're trying to balance youth and experience, but losing Guimaraes feels like a step back. What many people don't realize is that players like him aren't just replaceable cogs in a machine, they're leaders, they're the heartbeat of a team. So, when you lose someone like that, it raises a deeper question: what's the long-term vision for Newcastle? Now, let's talk about Arsenal's side of things. David Hopkinson mentioned that Arsenal initially floated lower sums for Guimaraes, which, honestly, feels like a bit of a gamble. I mean, the guy's 29 in November, not exactly a spring chicken in football terms. But here's where it gets interesting. Arsenal are getting a player who's not just skilled but also a leader. What this really suggests is that Arsenal are thinking beyond just on-field performance. They're building a culture, a spine for the team. And personally, I think that's a smart move. In my opinion, the fee might seem high, but if Guimaraes can bring that same level of influence he had at Newcastle, it's worth every penny. What makes this really interesting is the negotiation dynamics. Hopkinson called it a deal between sophisticated actors, and I couldn't agree more. Both clubs had their demands. Newcastle wanted a higher fee, Arsenal wanted a lower one. But in the end, they found a middle ground. This isn't just about money, it's about value. A detail I find fascinating is Hopkinson's comment about it being the highest fee for a player in that position at that age. It's a record, sure, but it's also a statement. Newcastle are saying, we know what we've got, and we're not letting him go cheap. Meanwhile, Arsenal are saying, we're willing to pay top dollar for quality. If you take a step back and think about it, this deal is a win-win. Newcastle get a good fee, and Arsenal get a top player. But here's where I have to play devil's advocate: is Arsenal overpaying? I mean, Guimaraes is great, but he's not in his prime anymore. And Newcastle, despite their losses, are being cautious in the market. Ross Wilson's comment about not making mistakes just to tick a box is telling. They're not panicking, they're not rushing. From my perspective, that's a sign of a club that's thinking long-term, even if it means short-term pain. Meanwhile, Arsenal are in a different phase, they're in win-now mode. They need players who can make an impact immediately, and Guimaraes fits that bill. But it raises a deeper question: are they sacrificing future flexibility for present success? Finally, let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. This transfer is part of a larger trend in football. Clubs are becoming more strategic, more calculated. It's not just about buying the best players, it's about buying the right players at the right time. Personally, I think this deal is a perfect example of that. Both clubs got what they wanted, but it's the implications that are fascinating. For Newcastle, it's about rebuilding without losing sight of their identity. For Arsenal, it's about strengthening their core while keeping an eye on the future. What this really suggests is that the transfer market isn't just about money, it's about vision, strategy, and culture. So, here's my closing thought: transfers like this aren't just about players moving clubs, they're about clubs defining themselves. Newcastle are in a phase of transition, while Arsenal are in a phase of consolidation. Both paths are valid, but they come with their own challenges. As we watch this play out, I can't help but wonder, what's next for these clubs? And more importantly, what does this mean for the Premier League as a whole? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you guys think about this move and its implications. Until next time, keep the football conversations going.